Hi, I'm Anna McLean. I am your PIC Connection Podcast radio host for today. This right here is Alec Italiano.
Hi, everybody. I'm the Director of Workforce and Economic Development here at Private Industry Council.
And our other guest is Tim.
Tim Yerkeson, soon to be ex-president and CEO of the Private Industry Council. I think I got 5 weeks left. 5 weeks.
Not that you're counting down, right, Tim?
I'm counting hours.
So today we're going to be talking about the different projects and programs that PIC has for us. So we're going to go a little bit into PIC's history. So Tim, when was PIC actually started?
We were formed in 1983, October of 83, through the Job Training Partnership Act was actually the law, the federal law, which is federal employment law. And in 1994, we got into the Head Start business. And we do a lot more early childhood education things today than we do workforce. But we kind of marry the two programs because it's helping develop and deliver programs to a holistic family. So we're helping the young kids get transitioned to kindergarten, and we're helping the parents and their siblings into workforce development and adult training and into jobs and career advancement.
Cool. So what are the different areas that PIC serves? We have two different main offices, one in Greensburg and then another one in Lemont Furnace.
Mm-hmm.
What do those two offices really focus on?
Again, right now, we're a $23 million nonprofit 501c3 corporation. We have 75% of what we do, revenue-wise, and also staffing comes from our early childhood education division. So we're doing Head Start, early Head Start, pre-K counts, a lot of preschool stuff. We're doing other 25% is workforce development activities. We do Head Start and early Head Start in Fayette County and also in Beaver County. So we're kind of been expanding into more areas into southwestern Pennsylvania.
Very cool. So first we're going to be talking about our workforce development department. So Alec, what does EARN stand for?
This was a good trick question. I'm glad I got the preview on it. So Employment Advancement and Retention Network is what EARN stands for. It's the former welfare program, I guess, to put in more of like a layman's term. So what happens is candidates get referred in from the CAO office, the county assistant's office, for both Fayette and Westmoreland counties. And then they get put into our program where they're assigned a career navigator, and they help them identify some barriers. They do actually like a family-wide survey. So it's not just the individual coming into the program, but it's, everybody in the household to kind of go over, okay, what are some of the barriers that this individual has? How can we remove those barriers? And then ultimately the goal is to place them in a job, long-term job, where they can be successful. And then there's a lot of training involved with the program and classwork and things along those lines.
Very interesting. So next we're going to talk about Careerlink.
Mm-hmm.
There are there's a couple of offices that PIC is a part of.
Right.
Could you name a couple of those?
Yeah, there's three main offices. You already mentioned Lemont Furnace, which is just outside of Uniontown. So that's the Fayette County Careerlink. We have one here in Youngwood, Pennsylvania, on the campus of, can't call it 3 Cs anymore, Westmoreland College, community college here in Westmoreland County. And then we have another one in New Kensington, the Alakiski office, right there on 5th Avenue there. So also on Westmoreland College campus. So those are our three main offices, and they do the mobile Careerlinks as well. Well, they'll go out into like mostly libraries in the community and things like that. Actually, here in our Greensburg office, we have them come up 1 day a week and provide services. So those are the main offices and where we're located.
So with Careerlink, what kind of services do they provide? Is it just specifically for business kind of work, or do you do testing? What kind of services do you guys provide?
Yeah, so the Careerlinks are actually a very comprehensive office and program that we offer here at PIC. We're the operator of it, and the Westmoreland Fayette Workforce Investment Board, is also a player here. But they basically have two main sides of the Careerlink. You have your employment services for basically anybody walking in off the street that needs job training, or just really looking for a job in general. And then you have the business services side, where you have the account representatives go out, meet with different businesses in the community, see what their needs are, see what their employment needs are. And then there's a various amount of programs that, we can kind of connect them with, whether that be state funding, federal funding, or local funding to help that business out the best that we can. So that's a lot of where the jobs come from. And then on the employment services side, that's where we're saying, okay, we need a lot of welders or truck drivers or whatever the case may be coming from that business services side to translate those into training programs to then train the folks. We write them, we call them ITAs, individualized training accounts. And then they also do a lot of what they call OJTs, on the job trainings, where they can take people looking for work and place them in those businesses.
No, that sounds like awesome work. And because of that, does it cost anything for anybody to partake in the services that Careerlink has?
Yes and no. So there are a lot of free services. They have a great pathways program that you can just go. We have two very good teachers that facilitate that program. So maybe that's a little bit more for someone who isn't sure what they want to do, and they can go down that pathway program. And then there's also things like resume help and just some like regular professional development things. And then, but then, if you get into a training program, a lot of those are fairly free. Don't want to get myself into too much trouble here, but for example, if you're coming in for a CDL, it'll cover like 90% of that. And then sometimes you have to pay a little extra for the test or the permitting or something like that. But for the bulk of it is covered if you qualify, of course,
Yeah, nice. So one of the other programs that the Workforce Development Division has is called Dads Matter. And do you have to be a dad in order to be a part of this program?
You do not, actually. And that's, and Dads Matter too is open to everybody. There isn't any kind of prerequisite or requirement or qualification to get into that program. You might be able to shift that over to Tim, and he can talk more about the program. He's got the Dads Matter shirt on right now too.
Yeah,
So
I love to wear these shirts
He's
because it's
represented.
amazing how often folks come up to you and they'll say, wow, Dads Matter, tell me about that. And it is a responsible fatherhood initiative. It was a 5-year project. We're coming to the end of it here at the end of September, but we've reapplied to get another 5 years and keep our fingers crossed that that's going to happen. It's an excellent program. Been in this business for 37, 38 years, and they always have programs to help children, or they have programs to help women, but finally they have a program here that'll help fathers, and we're helping these folks get back in touch with their children. Yeah. and help them to be a better dad and a bigger part of the family, and help them grow within their career and help with family income growth and that kind of thing. So it's really a neat program. We get a lot of attention for it, and we do a lot of great work with it. We have an excellent Dads Matter staff. They do a wonderful job, and we just hope we can continue this as we go forward.
Yeah. And they're in a lot more areas too. I believe they were in Washington County as well. So kind of outside of our maybe more traditional footprint here at PIC. But a father figure is, a lot of the guys coming through the program, that's what they are. Sometimes they're not necessarily, the biological dad, but that's why it's such a good program. And there is workforce trainings tied to that Dads Matter program too. I mentioned CDLs earlier for the Careerlink, but also through Dads Matter, we were doing a CDL program, which was very successful, and forklift training and OSHA 10, and just got them some of that industry credentials that they would need to further their career. So,
So that'll finish out the Workforce Development Division, but moving on to the Education Division that PIC hosts, we are going to talk about the adult services and also the Education Technology Institute. So Tim, how are PIC and ETI connected?
Well, actually, Education and Technology Institute is doing business through the Private Industry Council. So we use, again, the 501c3. It's our private licensed school, licensed through the state of Pennsylvania. We just recently have obtained permission to start our driver's school.
Very cool.
So we've started driver's training. Again, a lot of the folks we may have in a Dad's Matter program, in EARN program at the Careerlink, may need to have get driver's license. We've done some research in the area, and we see that there's waiting lists for families, and so we don't feel we're putting competition out there against the private driving schools, because there's so much need for this, and I think it'll give us an opportunity to get more people through the system and out into the ability to work faster.
Yeah, definitely. So what kind of services, though, does the adult education? Mainly, I know that it does a lot of testing. So what kind of testing can someone come in and do?
Right, so we're a Pearson VUE testing site here at Private Industry Council. So a lot of GED tests are happening here in our computer labs and things along those lines. And then we will do remediation too, through, usually one of our programs. So let's say you're in EARN and you're working towards your GED, you need a little remediation or class help in whatever field that might be. And that's actually sort of how ETI plays into a lot of this, is ETI will provide that remediation service, for that participant in the EARN program. So, I always say this, I love how comprehensive our services are, because no matter what age you are, really, I mean, even, pregnant woman could sign up for early head start, all the way through maybe like a dislocated worker when they're in their 40s or 50s. PIC is here to kind of like serve, all those ages and things like that. So it's just one example of how one program kind of ties into a next and gives that kind of like that comprehensive feel. So, and I'm really excited about the driving school, so we can't downplay that enough. I think that's going to be a great program for us. And we see it. I mean, we, day in and day out, transportation's the biggest barrier. Westmoreland County, Fayette County, Beaver County, Eastern Allegheny, like all the different areas that we're in, just getting people to the different offices is a challenge. And, Zoom has really helped. We're doing this on Zoom equipment through Facebook Live. So that's a big step. And I think COVID maybe sort of pushed us along that road a little bit more. I see Tim shaking his head over there. So.
Yeah, but I was going to add, because, to what you're saying is so correct, because there is a method to our madness here. I mean, I look at ETI and I say, it takes me back to, the 90s, and we started whenever we were doing a lot of rapid response for dislocated worker programs. Hillman Barge comes to mind. Census Technology back in the day had, mass layoffs, and so we sat down like with welders at Hillman Barge in Brownsville, and computers were something that the wife did at the home or the kids could do.
Right.
But at that day and age, these guys are grabbing the mouse and they're pulling the mouse. and so that was like the beginnings of Education and Technology Institute, and it's just grown from there. So it's all about trying to figure out what the needs are in the community and what we can do to help people to make them successful.
Yeah, we did a little, just on a sidebar note, not to get you too off track there, Anna, we did technology iPhone classes and smartphone classes. We went out to different senior centers. We were in West Newton. We were in Monessen. Actually, you can't see him, but the guy behind the camera right now, he helped us facilitate that for us, Colin. So, ETI, we're in a lot of different areas, so.
Very cool. So in addition to the adult services in ETI, we're going to talk about the youth services. So I'm going to talk specifically about the Experience Works program.
Mm-hmm.
Who is eligible for the Experience Works program? Either one of you can take that
So we're
one.
doing 16 to 24?
Yeah, 16 to 24. So again, it's kind of split between two different age groups. You have the in-school youth, those 16 to 18-year-olds, which admittedly it was kind of like traditionally this work experience program would happen during the summer. We'd find them some summer jobs, and then that was kind of it. So throughout the years, this program has actually been transitioned more into an 18 to 24-year-old program for those already out of school, not in a secondary, post-secondary type of education. And so we'll place them with a work site, provide them that additional training through the Careerlinks if they would need it, and and place them that way. So yeah, you got to live in Westmoreland or Fayette. That's a Westmoreland Fayette program. And there are some qualifications to get in there, but it's a really good program. We've been doing it since the beginning, right, Tim? I mean, since 1983, we've been doing this Experience Works program. So that's a legacy program here at PIC. It's kind of how I label it. And, it's something that businesses really like because you sign them up as a work site and, they're given, we're paying the participant. This year, we're paying them $10 an hour, so a fairly substantial wage. And they're getting that labor at the work site to do some work. And then, on the back end, they're getting some additional training as well. So.
And the money comes through the Westmoreland Fayette Workforce Investment Board. It's a Department of Labor industry program. And so we're fortunate enough to be able to provide those kind of programs on an annual basis.
Yeah. That's why I was actually able to get my internship here. It's a good experience.
Yeah, you were part of the Experience Works Plus program.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a variation on it, but it is for people in college, looking for internships. So,
It was very interesting. I liked it. So in addition to the Experience Works program, you have after-school and summer enrichment programs with the Education Division. Since COVID has happened, there's obviously not so much going on right now, but in previous years, what have the programs kind of been like?
Yeah, so we have a lot of after-school programs in a lot of different districts and a lot of different schools. I would try to name them all, but I'm sure I'd forget one. Menneson, Ligonier Valley, Connellsville, Southmoreland.
And we just finished up Aliquippa and New Brighton.
We just finished up, yeah.
County, which, again, really excited about being able to go to Beaver. When we went to Beaver for Head Start in 2013 and then kind of sat down with the superintendents of schools up in Beaver County with the county commissioners. And I promised them that I would do whatever I could to bring additional resources to their county. And I feel good that we've done that. I mean, we brought after school 21st Century Community Learning Center money to Aliquippa and New Brighton. We've brought Pennsylvania STEM money to Aliquippa, over $400,000. So they actually built STEM education within their curriculum at the elementary school and the high school. And it's really neat stuff that they're doing up there. And, really nice to have some champions that we have as partners up in Beaver County.
Yeah, very cool. So the other department that PIC does is the Early Childhood Development Division. So that's mainly encompassing the Head Start and Early Head Start, along with pre-K counts. So what is technically Head Start?
Okay, yeah, Head Start is preschool for children 3 through 5. There is an income criteria that these families will be asked to meet to apply to. And we probably are responsible for just a little short of 1,700 preschoolers every day through Westmoreland, Fayette, Allegheny, and Beaver counties. The Pre-K Counts program is the state initiative. It's started under Governor Rendell. It was his early childhood education program, and we've grown to have 10 or 11 classrooms today. We have Southmoreland and Westmoreland County, and Central Valley in Beaver County, and then the other classrooms exist in Allegheny and Fayette County. But that too has some income criteria tied to it, to the families, but the income is a little bit higher, so people can make a little bit more money and still be eligible for pre-K accounts, where all of somebody that's eligible for Head Start could also be in pre-K counts, but not necessarily the other way
around, yeah.
But yeah, great program. We're doing it for the kids.
Yeah.
I mean, when they called me in 2013 and they said, hey, listen, we've got some problems up in Beaver. Would you be interested in taking a look and see if you would want to run Beaver? I didn't know anything about Beaver County, but I said, okay, they're not asking somebody to do this, they're asking me to do this.
Right.
So you drive up there and you look at the kids and you see the kids and you can't say no. and I think we've done really well up there. And again, you don't do it in a vacuum. You do it with community partners and you do it with an excellent staff. And I think we've got dedicated people and people that are out there every day working hard for these young kids and for their families, because Head Start is more than just education for the preschooler, but it's support and resources bringing to the families. And that's where we tie the whole workforce development thing in to our total mission, because I've always said, people look and they'll say, private industry council, you folks are in Careerlink, you're in workforce development, what are you doing in the early childhood education? And I always say, well, I look at that young one there and I said, that's your workforce 20 years from now.
Right.
So if we can put a good foundation for them and they can love learning and love to go to school and be successful and make a lot of money, and then hopefully we're building in that community aspect too, so they'll come back and spend their money and use their money to give back to the counties that they live from, because too many times we hear about, well, I grew up in this area and if I'm going to make enough money just to get out of here.
Right.
And we're trying to, say to these folks, hey, how about giving back and we can build up our area too.
Yeah, I kind of alluded to this earlier, like about how comprehensive our services are, but it just goes to show you could be, I think it's up 0 to 3 in the early Head Start, and then 3 to 6, I believe they can be 3 to 5. Sorry, Head Start, you need to be in the regular Head Start program. Then you get in the school system, and then from there you can be part of the after-school program, 21st Century that funds that grant. That's a federal program. And so, you could be in that program from elementary school to middle school to even high school. We're in the high school in Menneson. And then, once you get into the high school, you can be part of the Experience Works program. We have a cool drone program now that, we've really been developing over the last few years as part of the youth department. And so, that's a cool program. We bring them in here. We teach them how to fly the drone. We teach them how to do video editing. We pay for their FAA Part 107 test, and if they pass that, then they can actually fly a drone commercially and make money doing it. So we have those youth programs, and then after they graduate high school, you still can have them in Experience Works. You can have them at the Careerlink, provide some training, and then as you're moving throughout your life, you become a dad. You're in Dads Matter. Maybe an unfortunate situation happens where you get laid off or something like that, and then you come back to the Careerlink. We get you a new career path, dislocated worker, incumbent worker, even, up yourself, and then, onward and upwards. So that's what I really like to show, that, from as little as a baby all the way up to, close to your retirement, this PIC is, serving you. So.
Well, and speaking of retirement, do you have any hobbies that you're going to be doing now since you're going to be retiring soon?
Go on roadshow, more time for appearances, right?
So that means we got you back for future episodes.
Oh, absolutely. I got to plug in. They booked me the other day for the Somerset Bank and Trust Car Cruise Parade on September 15th.
That's right, Connellsville.
I'll be down there riding in the back of some convertible, I guess. Anybody wants to take a shot, there's a good chance.
You'll be down there with water guns, Tim, don't you worry.
But no, that's and again, just being part of the community and participating in those kind of events, because I think it's the 4th year that John Malone and Somerset Trust is having this car cruise, and it's really exciting to see all the people in the Connellsville community come out and participate. He gets, 7,500 cars participate, and over 400 people will show up for this event, I'm sure.
So you're gonna buy a classic car in your retirement, is that what it is then, huh?
You never know.
All right, so that ends this episode of PIC Connection Podcast. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you, yeah.